The evening had started off tense even before I rang the doorbell. It was supposed to be a family dinner. My wife had insisted it would be a good time to get closer to her parents. I knew they'd never really like me, but I didn't expect the night to turn into a firing squad. The moment I stepped inside, her father's eyes swept over my clothes, lingering on my watch. Not the flashy kind, just a simple stainless steel piece I liked. His lips curled into a smirk. You didn't even dress up? Figures. My daughter always had a soft spot for uneducated types. I forced a polite smile. Good to see you too, sir. We made it to the dining room, but the air was thick. Every time I opened my mouth, her dad cut me off with some sarcastic comment. Her mom wasn't any better, constantly making little digs about how my kind of work must be unstable. Halfway through the main course, it escalated. Her father slammed his fork down. You know, I've tried to be polite, but I can't stand it anymore. You're just uneducated trash. My daughter could have done so much better. I sat there, staring at him, my knuckles white on the tablecloth. Get out. Her mother snapped suddenly, her voice sharp. Get out, you lowlife. I felt my wife's hand on my arm, but she didn't say anything. That silence told me everything I needed to know. I didn't argue. I didn't offend myself. I just said, okay, fine. And I walked out. They didn't know. They had no idea. I didn't talk about my work because I didn't feel the need to brag. But the reality was I'd built and sold 2 tech companies before I was 35. My investments were solid, and my net worth hovered around $50 million. I drove a modest car, wore simple clothes, and kept my life low profile. The next week, I decided I was done trying to fit into their narrow world. I packed up my things, left my wife a note that I needed space, and flew down to Florida. The keys to my beach house, a sprawling glass and steel place overlooking the Gulf, were still on my keyring. The first few mornings there, I woke up to the sound of waves crashing and sunlight pouring into floor-to-ceiling windows. I started to remember what peace felt like. I swam in the pool, grilled fresh seafood, and watched the sunsets alone. 2 weeks later, I got a call from an unknown number. I almost ignored it, but something made me pick up. It was my wife's mother. Her voice was syrupy sweet this time. Oh, we were just thinking about you. How have you been? I let the silence stretch. I've been great, really great. She went on about how they'd been too harsh and didn't mean what they said. Apparently, they were coming down to Florida for a little vacation and thought it would be so nice to catch up. I knew what had happened. Someone, probably my wife, had told them about the beach house. I told them, sure, come by next Saturday. I'll have lunch ready. When they arrived, they were dressed to impress, but I could see the awe in their eyes as they stepped onto the terrace overlooking the ocean. The infinity pool shimmered in the sun. The private dock stretched out over turquoise water, and the house itself, well, it spoke for me. Her father's jaw tightened as he took it all in. This is yours. I smiled politely. Has been for years. Just one of a few places I stay. Her mother laughed nervously. Well, we might have misjudged you. I tilted my head. No, you judged exactly who you thought I was. And you made it clear I wasn't welcome in your family. I don't hold grudges, but I don't invite people into my life who treat me like trash. They shifted uncomfortably, probably expected me to back down now that they were groveling. But I didn't. After lunch, during which I kept the conversation formal and distant, I walked them to the door. Thanks for coming, I said with a smile that didn't reach my eyes. Enjoy the rest of your vacation. I think it's best we keep our distance. Their faces fell. They wanted access, maybe even imagined being part of this lifestyle. But I gave them nothing, just like they gave me nothing when I sat at their dinner table, trying to be accepted. When they left, I poured myself a drink and stepped out onto the terrace. The sun was setting, the water glowing orange and gold. Sometimes, revenge isn't about shouting or proving someone wrong in the moment. Sometimes, it's about living so well that those who underestimated you have to choke on their own words. And in that quiet, I realized I didn't need their approval. I never had.